I literally saved that thing so many times over the last 2 days. I feel like I murdered it. Gotcha. So it's like, yo, I'm putting you back in. I didn't know it was that snake. It was another snake. Okay.
You can't jump. You need to go back.
Why are you trying to jump out? I didn't touch him. I love you guys. I'll be back to check on if the snake is here. What is this life of mine? I genuinely wish that's not how all this started, but it is. I had a red racer on my property that got to a bird that I was protecting for a couple days. Red racers are non-venomous. I was more so screaming because a bird was in its mouth. But my friend ended up wrangling it the wrong way, but I had the opportunity to learn from High Desert Danny how to wrangle all the snakes that I'll come across in my property, which you are gonna see now. He's like, hello.
He said, I got me to take, look, he's not going to bite you.
Oh my gosh, what is this? Oh my gosh, I don't know what it's doing. Okay.
But I just tune in until you feel like you're in a good spot, even though it's a little bit of a pinch. But you get them out. See how fleet. So now you're in the middle. Go up. Little bit. A lot of this is gonna be evaluate. You're doing great. Perfect, girl. Love it.
Now that we can wrangle a snake properly and we have just better education and more love for them, which makes me just excited because I really do coexist with them most of the time, but when they're that close to a door, I'm like, okay, let's just move you. We can move forward with the remaining of the property. I'm taking a break from the trailer, and that is because I genuinely don't have the budget right now to fix an electrical issue that is just out of my DIY knowledge, and I don't want to risk it. So I'm gonna take a break, but take a breath, and I told myself I'm not allowed to start another project. I need to absolutely revisit my biggest fails and make sure that everything I have started is working before moving into the house, which is kind of ironic because we're standing in front of a project that's in the home reno that you will see very soon. But that's it, that's the only project I'm doing in here. I built a garden last year in hopes to start a desert homestead, and I just failed at growing anything that is edible until I build my greenhouse, I believe. So what I am focusing on now is I used to buy myself the damn flowers, and now I'm growing myself the damn flowers. So we are going to upgrade the garden that we literally did last year and just failed to continue. We are actually kind of just picking up where past Rachel left off. You see that back deck framing? Well, I had Project Intuition and it just told me to stop. So I'm going to be using that lumber for another project that'll be going away, but you're not even going to be able to pay attention to that because what I'm going to do is reuse what used to be for a dartboard as a DIY potting table. Over the last year of trying to garden and now really taking it serious, I realized I need a space where I can just kind of get messy. So I'm going to be kind of putting old DIYs that, again, were a fail to good use, like this table. This table was such a fail. It was so hard, but it was a lot of fun and the whole process. So I'm just moving it to where I will for sure get a lot of use of it and learn to love it. Pegboard action. When I built this garden with you guys a while back and I put the lattice up, it really was just kind of like a temporary design move. Honestly, in person, it just looks a lot dirtier. And I don't want to be like dirty desert. I want to be dirty desert chic. So I'm removing the lattice, and I originally was planning, again, Project Intuition here, to do this whole floral vertical wall. Just straight up the whole thing, flowers. I even built it out. I sprinkled it out. Like, I added sprinklers, that's what that means. And even did the planter boxes, but when I put it into place, I just realized how much water I would be wasting. Honestly, nothing really is growing right now anyway, so there is no huge proof of concept, and I just decided, you know what, I'd rather not. I don't want to waste water when I don't know what I'm doing. I want to make sure that when I am opting to turn my land into greenery where there really is no greenery, that I am doing it right. So I want to start smaller, and I decided to take it down. I am not a fan of walking through gravel on the exterior in the desert when people make that landscape choice, so I like to go with flagstone, which is what I'm doing right here, a little path to the garden. Okay, so everything is planted from this tier up. Since these are budding, that means we have a sign of success, hopefully. And what I noticed last year about my garden was the rabbits were jumping up to here. They were kind of using them as tiers and attacking whatever I decided to plant. So last year, just to see what would happen, I planted a couple of lettuce and just things that were like attractive to rabbits. I did this like garden blocking around it, and it seemed to have stopped them. Like they still attacked what was ever on the bottom layer, but whatever was blocked, they didn't like jump up and get to. So I'm just gonna repeat that to this tier and the bottom tier after I plant it. I just want to show you how easy it is, because I just put like an eye hook here. It's just these guys that you pick up at your local Home Deeps to make it like, stick it in, stick it in. When I do my watering system, they're always protected, and when I start to gather them, I can just remove these pretty easily. Is kind of my idea. Okay. There is something in between when doing projects about utilizing the space as you are building them out. I think a mistake I've made so far on my property is not fully functioning in a space after I do it, or even while I'm doing it, to make sure that it's actually going to work. So far with the potting table, I literally use it every morning because I'm propagating, or I'm just like adding mulch, or I'm going over there to tend to the garden and I have a table to put my things. It's really fun to DIY your space for you. You'll have to excuse my voice, but I'd like to thank today's sponsor, AG1. AG1 is a comprehensive foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health every day. There's 75 vitamins and minerals and whole food source ingredients within it. And I personally love taking it because there's a peace of mind I'm getting the comprehensive nutrition to support my busy lifestyle with ease. It's once a day, 8 ounces of water, 1 scoop of AG1. You shake it, it's that easy, and you're replenishing your daily nutrients. The main reason I started taking AG1 every day was to get my gut health in order. AG1 actually supports the brain, the gut, and immune system. I also noticed an improvement in my overall focus and energy in the morning by replacing my coffee with AG1. If you want to try AG1 for yourself, you can actually head over to drinkag1.com/Rachel Metz, because they are offering my community 1 free year of their D3 and K2 supplement, as well as 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Okay, fun fact, right after I DIY'd this, it's hands down one of my biggest fails. The filter doesn't work, the paint's chipping off, and this turned into just shambles. So Christy and I are gonna show some TLC to, I think, one of my biggest fails yet, DIY-wise, and then prep for one of my biggest deliveries yet. But let me show you what we're working with, because it's actually kind of embarrassing. Okay, see, looks cute. Walk towards it. And this is the reality of the situation. I think the metal primer that I put underneath the pool paint bubbled the heat. This is just not working. There's a lot not working, and we can't access the filter, so Miss Christy is gonna go over there and open it on up, and we're just gonna get this thing working. No, I hate this. Where I made the mistake was definitely trying to add a metal adhesive paint to a paint that does not adhere to metal. I mean, just in general, both cases failed, and that's why everything bubbled underneath when water made contact. I got advice from my dear friend Brett from Skull and Spades, and he let me know his quench tanks for welding, he actually coats in Flex Seal, and not once has he ever had an issue with like rust or it bubbling, cracking, what have you. He was a huge fan, so that's why I'm spraying it on. This room has actually gone through 2 evolutions. One, it just used to be a lounge with a bench, and then once I realized I needed shade and some form of water, that's where this cowboy pool shade room situation unfolded. However, I literally have not used it since the video that you see popping up on screen now. So if you guys want to watch the full build, that's over there for you. But I did thrift those tiles. Fun fact. I do think that by painting it white and not having it blue, it is allowing the tile, the wood, the flagstone to all pop more, because you're not like blending in with the sky. Another thing that's also going to make an area pop more is when you add decking, specifically nice decking, you want to make sure to go back and reseal it, recoat it, give it life again, because immediately sealing this Ipe with this Ipe oil just brought back this warmth like nobody's business. When I started adding the terracotta back to this area, I told myself I have to maintain the things that I'm making over in order to move forward with this property. I'm not going to have it be run down. So I started like planting flowers because I want the theme of my whole property to be cactus and flowers. Woodbrain, if you're watching this, you better comment the timestamp you hear this, because remember my original idea of wanting to hang the DIY swing that we built together right here? And you told me it was a bad idea. Guess what? It was not. It was perfection. I wanted to hang a swing right here so when people have FOMO like myself, but I don't want to be in the water, I can like swing and still feel like I'm doing something. I literally didn't record any of that, so vertical video will come on as proof. I am the worst, I know. It's okay. But the swing is there. Oh, my beautiful creatures, you want to know the girth of that rope? Well, that might be aggressive. You want to know the thickness of my rope? Well, I've linked it down below for you. I definitely did not buy that in store. Also, I'm not doing anything fancy here when rehanging this swing. I'm genuinely just tying one basic knot, even though it's difficult, pulling it as tight as possible, hanging it higher than expected, and I'll let the knots settle. That's kind of what happened at the front porch, but I hung it at the level I wanted it, and then it sunk basically down to the floor. No, thank you. I've already said it a million times, but I do think it's wild that like past Rachel had no idea what she was really DIYing for in the moment, but now I'm turning it into these spaces that are creating these moments that turn into these memories that are lasting a lifetime. It's like it's become my pure inspiration for the renovation moving forward.
Are you joking me? Who has this?
As much as I'm trying to have people come over and be like, oh, that's cute, who did it? Because I'm a carpenter, I want you to ask. I'm also doing it with my group in mind, my herd in mind, if you will. Like, I know how my crew functions. I know how we fill up a space. I know how we move. So this works perfectly for the people that I love that are going to exist here. After the paint sealed for a full day, full 24 hours in this desert heat, I moved forward with just filling the base with water to see if there was any starting leaks that I needed to handle. Okay, now we wait. Now we see. Here you have your outdoor area, the garden, which wraps around this way. I'll show you in a second. And then this is the next episode, my outdoor dining. And eventually, when you walk this way and go like this, that is my horse rescue on the rest of my land. Okay, I'm about to pull the hose out. Thormund is here enjoying how cool it's becoming over here. I definitely need to DIY a little ladder. On the off chance some critters want to go swimming, they'll have a little escape. But also that is why we are DIYing the pond too, because I want to, since I'm bringing water to a place that there is not, I am going to designate the entire pond over there and like put feed and start to train the critters. Like, that is your watering hole. This is the human watering hole. But so far, no leaks, which is great. So and then when this filter turns on, and I'll get a little like pool vacuum is what I'm thinking, because just inevitably there's going to be a ton of sand in here, which I can already see it. And I scrubbed the hell out of it too. As I was waiting to see if the filter was doing its job or if I needed to problem solve that as well, since we were moving ahead pretty seamlessly, I decided to finally cover up this mural that I honestly never really was a fan of. I just don't feel like it goes with the property. And also there's an iron sign that says be still and know. So go where you grow and be still and know. I don't know if those both make sense together. So I opted to just choose the be still and know, because sitting in that cowboy pool makes a lot more sense, and clear up that back wall of any kind of wood or lattice that I have, and really just hang this old piece of local art that I got from a local welder to hang flowers that I would like to grow, named Dahlia, after the first horse that I broke. Do you see my horse girlness coming out? I'm obsessed. I love it. I can't wait. Okay, when I turned the filter on, it like kicked sand in, so I need to clean the filter and rerun this and see what is exactly happening. Oh, sorry, there's a fly on me. These suckers bite.
As much as I love new projects and kind of busting my way through things like a little bit of a bulldozer, I am starting to thoroughly enjoy revisiting my fails after this section has been brought back to life and treating the house that I'm turning into my home like the home that I love. Like, I've noticed, I don't know if it's just living in the desert and, you know, nothing is able to survive out here, so it's kind of just hard as a human, but just in general, like, not respecting my space after I use it. So moving forward with the episodes, I'm just so excited to kind of teach you what I've learned after existing in a space and not giving it the proper care and attention that it deserves, because I think, you know, your space is a reflection of your mindset and your mind space in general. So I'm just glad to be tackling this with you guys and kind of cleaning my river, if you will. I am never one to be shy of being like transparent around here, but I do hide how things have kind of become in shambles. So I would love to just bring you into the reality of the behind the scenes of Rachel, which has to do with things like this. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, all of the things. And I'm gonna actually see you way soon, really soon, for another DIY. I love you guys.